It is with a very warm heart that we welcome you to today's episode of Tax Matters. My name is Olumuyiwa Matuluko, PwC Journalist of the Year in Tax Reporting for the year 2016. That makes us very proud, and we give all the glory to God Almighty, and we thank our viewers out there for your support over the years. Last episode, we focused on stamp duty administration in Nigeria, stamping of legal instruments, stamping of documents. And we visited one of the offices of the FRS in Ikeja, Lagos, one of the stamp duty offices, where we showed you the kind of machines that have been used in stamping documents over the years. And we did promise at the end of that episode that today we'll bring you the interview we conducted with the National Commissioner for Stamp Duties. That promise we are keeping on today's episode of Tax Matters.
It's a new dawn in Nigeria, and the mantra is change. The wind of change is blowing all over Nigeria and beckons to you. One sure way to respond is to perform your civic duty, pay your tax. With taxes, government generates revenue to fulfill its electoral promises, ensure regular power supply, provide good security, standard education, medical care, true total change. Individuals and corporations enjoy specific benefits, rights and privileges for paying taxes and avoid the consequences and penalties of not paying. Oil revenue is no longer sufficient to bring desired change, but your tax can. It pays to pay your tax. A message from the Federal Inland Revenue Service.
My name is Jim ITT, the National Commissioner for Stamp Duties, FRS. The essence of stamp duty is for the document to be admissible as evidence in court. You have to stamp your document to give it a legal backing. And Federal Inland Revenue Service is the only revenue agency that is empowered by law to collect stamp duties for federal government.
Okay, for federal government. But we do know that states also collect stamp duties.
Yeah, you are correct. States collect Section 4, subsection 1 and 2 of the Stamp Duty Act give powers to collect stamp duty on corporate organizations, individuals, and registered organizations to FRS. Why that of states is empowered to collect between two individuals. In a situation where you have a document or an instrument that have a corporate organization as one of the parties to the transaction, the stamp duties go to the Federal Inland Revenue Service.
Are you saying that if I buy a piece of land in Kano, from the Kano state government, I am an individual, the stamp duty is to be paid to the FRS?
Yes, it's to be paid to the
Why?
FRS.
I'm buying from the Kano state government.
You're right. Because a government agency, a government like the federal, the state, and the local government, and all MDs, they represent a body. So dealing with that body as an individual gives right for FRS to collect the stamp duties. If that transaction were to be between two individuals, that is between yourself and another individual, it goes to any of the State Board of Internal Revenue.
Okay. Stamping documents is a new thing. When did it start? If
you look at the Stamp Duty Act, the last review of the law was in 1957. So nothing has really happened. So what we have now is what we have in the Act. That is what we are implementing now.
So what essentially are you doing? We've had people tell us about the fact that you are trying to automate or try to make use of technology. What exactly are you doing to push stamp duty administration forward?
You see, any business that you do now that you don't use technology, you won't go far. That is the thinking of management. So that's why we are bringing the integrated stamp duty service to the public. So we are collaborating with CAC. As from April 28th, CAC is going to go live on integrated on registration of companies. Okay. You're not going to do the manual system again. So stamp duty is even part of what you pay when you try to register your company. So you don't have to do the manual stamp duty. You have to do everything on CAC platform, which links you to the FRS platform of e-stamp duty. So now you don't have to take your registration details or documents to stamp duty offices nationwide any longer. So all you do everything online. You pay online, You collect your receipts online, you collect your certificate online, you apply online. You don't have to take your document back to our office.
Are you saying we're not going to see those blue or pink stamps on documents anymore?
But yeah, it's optional. If a taxpayer feels that he still needs to do that, you can take it to any of our offices anytime, even after 1 year or after 2 years. You can take it to any of our offices nationwide. They will still stamp for you, but it's optional. It's not compulsory any longer.
So a certificate will be generated
Online.
online.
With a barcode, it can be confirmed online. The taxpayer can confirm online. You can verify the payment anywhere in the world. You can make the payment anywhere in the world. You don't have to come to any of our offices. You can, from the comfort of your office or your bedroom, you can do stamp duty. That's the way forward now.
How do you determine the fee to be paid for stamp duty on any particular document? An agreement, a land document, deed of assignment, all sorts. How do you determine the rates?
We have 2 types of stamp duty. We have the flat rate and we have the ad valorem. The flat rate is basically 500 naira, while the ad valorem varies with consideration. Any document or any instrument that has consideration, it goes for ad valorem rates because they have different rates. Like what you just mentioned now, the deed of assignment is 1.5% of the value of the property.
Is that what you mean by consideration?
That's what I mean by consideration. Because definitely, if you are buying the property, there must be consideration. So unless if it's a deed of gift, for a deed of gift, it's a flat rate. It's 500 naira, but because a deed of gift does not carry consideration. So for a document that carries consideration, like contract notes, which is the buying and selling of shares, it carries consideration. Like debentures, it carries on this consideration. Like mortgage, they have consideration on mortgages. So all these are ad valorem. Why? 1 no, not all. The rates varies. The rate varies. For a deed of assignment is 1.5. For contract note is 0.8%. For insurance policies is 0.075%. That is, for insurance policy is 1 naira 50 kobo on every 2,000 naira of the premium that you pay to insurance companies.
So it's not arbitrary. It's not as if the stamp duty commissioner can just give me a rate.
No. The rates are all specified in the Act, in the Stamp Duty Act. So there's no, and we have a uniform rate now. We have a publication out there on 1st of December 2016 on all the stamp duty rates, the flat rates and the ad valorem rates. So, and we have stamp duty offices in all the states of the Federation now, including Abuja. We have 39 offices now. Before this new administration came in, we only have stamp duty offices in about 20 states. So when they came in, we need to expand our horizon by creating more offices and by introducing an electronic machine. Initially, we used to use the old machine, the very big machine that you have to put in a big room to stamp documents. But now, this machine, you can put them in your drawers. And it's electronic, it's time-based, it's dated. You can just, it generates the date, the amount in words and in figures. And you see the Federal Inland Revenue logo on it. So it's more convenient and it's very, very efficient. But with the new e-stamping that we're doing now, it's going to be very, very convenient for taxpayers to pay. It's going to be, you're going to determine your consideration, your valuation. You're going to assess yours. It's just like a self-assessment thing now. So you're going to tell us on that platform, my property, I bought my property for 100 million. However, there's a check at the back end because we have all property valuations all over the country at the back end of that system. If you have a property in Ikoyi and you tell us that 1,000 square meters is 10 million, we'll tell you, no, you can't get 10 million. The system will give you the figure automatically. We give you the consideration automatically.
You are rising up.
Yes, yeah, we give you the consideration. So you just apply 1.5%. The system will apply the 1.5%. It will do the calculation for you. It will give you the assessment. It will collect your money and will issue you receipts. Yes, it's automated.
Okay, but considering the fact that, let's talk about land, which we spoke about. Land values vary from state to state. Even within states, Banana Island in Lagos, Parkview Estate, as opposed to Ajegunle or Ijegun. You come to Kano, GRA, Port Harcourt GRA. But are you assuring us that what Mr. Jimoh pays for a plot of land, a parcel of land in Kano GRA will be the same amount that Muyiwa will pay in that same GRA in Kano?
Correct. There's no variation. Because
there's no arbitrariness.
There's no arbitrariness. You see, the rate is not being determined by the whims or caprices of the Commissioner for Stamp Duties any longer. We have a uniform rate and we have a uniform valuation. So nobody can tell you that you want to do deed of assignment is 5% or it's 10%. No. It's 1.5%. It's only lease agreements, depending on the number of years, that is something that can tell you, okay, it's 3%, or it's 6%, that varies depending on the number of years. But for deed of assignment, as long as the property is in the same location, I'll give you an example of Ikoyi. In Old Ikoyi, it's 200,000 naira per square meter according to land's valuation. That was Lagos State valuation. It's 200,000 naira per square meter. So if you have a 1,000 square meter in Old Ikoyi, so the valuation will be 200 million naira. So the stamp duty on that is 1.5%. That is straight. That is very straightforward, which is 30 million. So there's no, if you are to be Lekki, Lekki is 80,000 naira per square meter. So if you have a 1,000 square meter in Lekki, that gives you 80 million naira. So 1.5% of that is what you pay as stamp duty. But with the new technology, you don't need to bother yourself. All you need to do is just key in the description of the property and the size of the land. The system will generate the valuation for you and will give you the assessment. So going forward, I will tell you maybe in a couple of months now, you will see what we're turning out from stamp duties, because stamp duty made easy. I will call it stamp duty made easy, payment made easy. So we don't want to disturb taxpayer and start calling you, or we need to spend like 5 hours in our offices trying to get assessment for a property. No. You assess yourself, you upload your documents, and you get your assessment, and you make your payment through any of the payment platform. Remitter, you can use the card, you can use the Visa card, you can use any of the payment platform, and you get your receipt immediately.
It's a new dawn in Nigeria, and the mantra is change. The wind of change is blowing all over Nigeria and beckons to you. One sure way to respond is to perform your civic duty, pay your tax. With taxes, government generates revenue to fulfill its electoral promises, ensure regular power supply, provide good security, standard education, medical care, true total change. Individuals and corporations enjoy specific benefits, rights and privileges for paying taxes and avoid the consequences and penalties of not paying. Oil revenue is no longer sufficient to bring desired change, but your tax can. It pays to pay your tax. A message from the Federal Inland Revenue Service.
This interview is being conducted on the sideline of a one-day training workshop that you just held for some people. So let's ask you, what was today's event all about?
What we're trying to do today is to meet up with the cutoff of CAC, Corporate Affairs Commission, because they were trying to work on the ease of doing business in Nigeria. We want to improve on our rating on ease of doing business. I want to key into what CAC is doing. So that's why we've assembled all the commissioners of stamp duties, and including some staff that work in stamp duty offices all over the Federation, to Intel Hotel for a one-day training on the e-stamping platform. So we're trying to take them through the system so that they'll be able to educate the taxpayers on how to operate on that platform. So it's only when you that collects the revenue knows how to operate the platform that you can teach others. So that's what we've done today. The second phase of it is that we're going to launch a stakeholders meeting to call all the stakeholders together, the lawyers, the accountants, the property owners and property valuers, estate agents. We're just going to call them so that we can still launch this thing nationwide. We're going to do adverts. We're going to do a lot of publicity, a lot of enlightenment campaign. And while we are training our staff at the moment is when you taxpayers comes to any of our offices, they can put you through on their laptop and tell you how to do it. So next time you don't have to come to any of our offices. So you can do it on your own. You do it yourself.
So this is basically to ensure that you are on the same page with the CAC, which is commencing online registration of businesses by April 28th.
Correct.
Now, and this will mean electronic stamp duty, e-stamping. When are you going to extend it to other instruments?
The way we've gone to do what we've done today, I can assure you that apart from CAC, we immediately we've keyed into CAC platform. Any other taxpayer that wants to pay stamp duty can use the platform. They can use the platform immediately as from today because it has gone live.
Okay.
It has gone live.
For even other instruments?
For even all the instruments. You can use the platform as from today.
So you said earlier that it will be the choice of the taxpayer to decide whether he or she still wants the ink and blue stamps that we are used to. Yeah. So you are not jettisoning that old system. They will be working pari passu, or are you eventually going to jettison the old system?
We are not going to do that because we still have some old school taxpayers that still believes that if they don't put that ink on their document, it's not too good for them. So we're going to run both simultaneously. But I think on the final analysis, definitely by the time they get used to it, they won't even require, they won't need the ink any longer. But for now, if you made your payment, if you make payment online, you can take your document any time of the day or maybe after 6 months if you feel the need. But if you don't feel the need, it's as good as stamped. It's as good as stamped.
Any other charge involved in that?
No extra charges. No extra charges.
Are you sure about that?
No extra charges because as per Stamp Duty Act, if you execute a document, because when you execute documents, when both parties or all parties sign the document, if you execute the document, you have within 40 days to stamp that document. Okay. So from the system, if the date of execution is more than 40 days, the system will calculate the penalty automatically.
Oh, there's penalty involved.
Yes.
So 40 days. Yeah.
But if you pay within 40 days, you can take it for ink, you can take it for any of the offices, maybe after 2 years, nobody will calculate any penalty. But it's only the payment that has to do with penalty.
So what do I stand to lose if I decide that I don't want to stamp, I don't want to pay stamp duties, I don't want to stamp my document? I buy a house from Mr. Jimo, and because we are friends, and because I don't envisage any problem, we just sign agreements and we both go our ways. Are we breaking any law?
You'll be breaking the law because to you might not see it, because if you have a document, you have a property, and the property is not registered, I'll tell you don't have a property. Yes, you don't have a property because it's not registered. If there's any court case on that property, you're going to lose out because it's going to be who is the last owner of that property. Oh, yeah? And you can't register a property without a stamp duty. So if you have a document, an agreement on a deed of assignment, the property for you is to register that property. So if you don't register it, definitely you are not the owner of the property. It's only the registration or getting a consent, that is governor's consent on that property, that transfers the title to you. Because there are two instruments in question. There is a primary document and a secondary document. The primary document on any landed property is the certificate of occupancy. Yes. While the secondary document is what we call the subsequent transactions, like the governor's consent, like deed of mortgage. You can do governor's consent 100 times on the property, as long as you keep selling. It's just like change of ownership of the vehicle. But you can only have one C of O on the property. Subsequently, you can't get a C of O. It's going to be a deed of assignment. Okay.
And that is not consummated until you do stamp duty.
You can't do that until you do stamp duty.
You spoke about stamp duty on insurance and all that. Are you saying that these insurance policies that we take out on a yearly basis on cars, that insurance companies pay stamp duty on them?
Yeah, they pay stamp duties on them. Yeah, they pay 0.075% on them.
On all those policies?
All policies, yeah.
Shares?
Yeah, share certificates as well. Buying and selling of share certificates attracts stamp duties as well. It's a law. It's the law. We are not doing any new thing. We are not reenacting the law. The law has been there. It's just like the issue of stamp duty on contracts. Contract agreement is 1% stamp duty. It has been there. So there's no way you will do an agreement, because if you give a Julius Berger a contract, definitely you're going to give him terms. There's going to be a terms of payment, of settlement at every level. So it attracts 1% stamp duty on the value of the contract.
What if I don't get paid all that money?
Definitely you will get paid.
No, they give me a contract of 100 million naira to construct a road.
Drainage, yeah?
All right? And you collect 1% of that 100 million. Yeah. Suppose that contract never takes off. We heard about that every time.
No, we won't collect until you are being paid an advance payment.
Are you sure?
Definitely. It's when you are being paid an advance payment that the accountant general will deduct the 1%. What they deduct 5% withholding tax, they will deduct 5% VAT, yes, and they will deduct 1% stamp duties upfront on the total sum of the contract.
When I'm being paid?
When you are being paid maybe a mobilization fee. Okay. They deduct that in advance.
On the total sum, or on that percentage that is being paid as mobilization?
On the total sum. Yeah, the total sum.
Suppose I don't get paid fully eventually?
Well, then you take them to court. That's the extent. That's why you're paying stamp duty. Yeah, take them to court. This is a government that's
in rule of law.
Yeah, believes in rules of law. So definitely take them to court. They will do the needful. Because if you pay stamp duty, so your document is admissible. They are in the contract, and the contract is binding. Yes, it's binding. It's binding on both parties. So you have to do your part. They have to do their own parts.
Where do you see these integrated stamp duty services, ISDS, taking us in the next 2 years?
I will tell you what I can compare it to is that for some of us that have been on this earth for a while, if they've told us that we can do payments of transaction on our phones, we can do payments online, we can do ATM, or we can do a lot of stuff, we say it's not possible. You have to go and get your tally number in the banks and sleep there. Or you can do your banking transaction anywhere apart from where your bank is domiciled. You say it's not possible. So for people that are forward-looking, that are visionary in leadership, like Mr. Batunde Fall, they will tell you nothing is possible on this earth. So it's better, I will tell you, by the time we are done with stamp duty in another 2 years, it will be competing favorably with VAT collection or with withholding tax collection. I can just put that on record.
On that positive note, we thank you for coming on to Tax Matters.
Thank you, sir.
And we wish you more grease to your elbow.
Thank you for having
Thank you
me.
very much, sir. Brimming there with optimism. Well, we wish Mr. Jimo the best of luck. It is a new dawn indeed, and it is our hope that, like he has promised, very soon, stamp duty will rake in as much revenue, if not much more, than value-added tax and withholding tax. Of course, we remember that at the workshop, the training workshop that was undertaken about 2 weeks earlier, where we actually interviewed him, he made this promise.
I promised the chairman, he said that our revenue is not good enough. But with what he has put in place, that's written to all the state governors, the Minister for Finance, the Minister for Petroleum, on what they need to do on stamp duty to give us information. And I'm promising him this morning that by the time we got all this information, we should to deliver at least minimum of 5 billion every month.
Mr. Jimo, we hold you to your promise. Maybe next time you come onto the program, you will be giving us a report card. To our viewers, thank you for watching. Let's do this again next week. Same station, same day of the week, same time of the day. Have a blessed week ahead.